A reminder you can help support the channel by joining the AMTV Patreon. You can also follow us and keep up to date on Twitter at AmTV, or if you like, you can join us here at AMTV by becoming a staff member via the YouTube membership program. Hi there guys, it's Martyn here, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. We have a brand new episode to take a look at, and this time it's the Easter special for 2022, and also the penultimate episode for the Jodie Whittaker era, so we'll be taking a look at Legend of the Sea Devils. So obviously when they first teased this at the end of the New Year special, I think a lot of us were quite hyped for the long-awaited return of the Sea Devils. Keep in mind, these guys only appeared twice in classic Doctor Who. The first time in 1972, so this year's their 50th anniversary, and the last time in 1984, so it's been nearly 40 years since we've seen these guys back, and the excitement, I think, for that alone got a lot of us, myself included, really stoked up. So it finally went out on Sunday, the 17th of April, Easter Sunday, a 50-minute special. So what did I like about it? Let's start with the good. First of all, I want to give massive props to the cast. It was quite a small cast, which is understandable given that I believe this was filmed when pandemic-esque restrictions were quite high. So small cast and tighter working restrictions, but they were all fantastic. The leads were brilliant. I'll get more onto them in a second. I want to give a big shout out to Crystal Yu, who played Madame Ching. I thought she did a fantastic job as the famed pirate queen, and I remember Crystal, I used to watch her in Casualty. She played one of the doctors in that, and I thought she was one of the better characters during that era, so great to see her here too. Also, the Sea Devils themselves, they look great. A perfect update, I think, in terms of design, keeping obviously like the original design of the face, but also updating the costume and the way they communicate. I've seen a lot of people saying that they were really angered that the Sea Devils' mouths didn't really move. Like, they sort of moved, but their mouths were shut. They sort of moved when they spoke. I didn't really have a massive problem with that, because I remember in the original Sea Devils, their mouths didn't really move either. They just sort of did that classic Who thing of bobbing their heads when they spoke. And I do understand that with, 50 years of advancements, you'd maybe hope that their mouths did move. But I thought that the prosthetics and the design itself were fantastic. And they had like the little communicator necklace that sort of lit up when they spoke. So I wasn't particularly mithered by the fact that their mouths didn't move. I thought the overall design of them, the voice, the way the actors in the suits portrayed them was fantastic. So really glad to see that. Also, some particular shots in this episode were absolutely beautiful. I know this era of Doctor Who has had many gorgeous shots ever since they started, I believe, shooting in 4K with Jodie Whittaker's era. I'm not into the technical terms of that, but, it looks nicer. And particularly this scene where the TARDIS is underwater, that took my breath away, honestly, with how stunning that looked. The main positive for me in this episode was our three leads, the Doctor, Yaz, and Dan. I love their outfits for a start, like the pirate-esque designs. And even Dan in his like over the top costume absolutely worked for the character, so that was great to see. I like how Dan sort of got split off into his own little side plot, so the Doctor and Yaz had time to just be with each other and talk. And in terms of the Thasmin stuff, oh boy, I'm glad we got it. We didn't get a kiss, but we certainly got some new stuff. So they have some really lovely scenes. One being the TARDIS underwater and the Doctor quipping about "I'm not a bad date." And particularly later on, when they're sat on the beach towards the end, the Doctor talking about how she feels like she can't attach herself or settle down to anyone or anywhere because eventually it'll hurt. It was a really nice little scene, actually, a great scene between those two actors. And I'm hoping that in the Centenary special, Jodie's final episode, I'm really hoping we get that long-awaited Thasmin kiss, or just something, a conclusion to that relationship. But the Thasmin stuff in this episode I generally quite liked. I found it quite moving a lot of the time too. The rest of it, there was some stuff that didn't particularly click with me. Some of the CGI, as much as I've just praised it, some of it did look a bit just a bit wonky, if you like. Don't want to use the word unfinished because I'm not an expert in computer generated imagery. But yeah, it seemed like it wasn't on par with some of the stuff we'd seen both in Flux and even in Eve of the Daleks. So that was a little disappointing. But again, all of this I'm trying to take with that pinch of salt that this was made during the pandemic. And also, I believe the tale of this story's production, and someone can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe this was sort of like a last-minute episode. I believe that the special, there was always going to be the New Year's special, Eve of the Daleks, and we were always going to have the Centenary. But I believe this one was, either they realised they had some budget left over, or they could make another episode, and they did. And if that's true, in the fact that it was quite late in production, that might explain not just the CGI, but a few other glaring things too. The pacing of this episode, quite frankly, seemed a bit all over the place. I felt the instigating incident of, like, you know, the TARDIS team getting involved and the threat of the Sea Devils came about very quickly and very suddenly, and the way in which it was all wrapped up, or how I should say the Sea Devils were disposed of, also seemed quite rapid too. They were a good, when they appeared, they're a threat, they've got their technology, they've got their plan, and then they're just not there anymore. They just get wiped out in one fell swoop from Dan. And I don't know, I was just sort of like, right, okay, they were here and then they weren't. Do you know what I mean? It just seems sad after nearly 40 years of not being on TV screens. Like, it was great to see them, and as I said, they looked and sounded great. But for their returning adventure, it was a bit gutting to... The threat sort of died off for me. Their threat as a villain, as a monster species. And I kind of wish they'd had a bit more to do. And overall, really, that was my main issue with Legend of the Sea Devils, which I think I've seen a lot of people say as well, is the runtime. This episode was only 50 minutes long. I mean, not that there has to be a set limit, but I guess traditionally in New Who, when there's been a special, like at Easter or at Christmas or New Year, they've tended to be at least 60 minutes, an hour in length, typically. I think this is the first special episode, like not part of a main season run that has been under 60 minutes. I think most of them have been an hour. Some have been like an hour and 10, hour and 15. Some have been longer than that. So I think we were all a bit surprised when it was revealed this was only 50 minutes, because even if it had those extra 10 minutes to make it to an hour, I think the Sea Devils could have had really built that threat even more before they were disposed of in whatever way that was. I think you could have disposed of them in a much more effective and dramatic way. You could have had time to set up the instigating like threat or what was going on. But don't get me wrong, I enjoy like a good romp where you just get, you know, thrown straight into it and all that sort of stuff. But I felt it was all happening too quickly for me. A lot of the plot was happening far too quickly. And again, like I said, late production, pandemic stuff, I get it, I really do. But I don't know the reason why this couldn't have been an hour as opposed to 50 minutes, because I think that really hurt it. And to be honest, going forward, I'm crossing my fingers that the Centenary, Jodie's final episode, is at least an hour, but I think it definitely needs to be more. But speaking of that, let's talk about that coming soon trailer. It is a little bit sad in a way that a 30-second trailer sort of has already immediately eclipsed Legend of the Sea Devils in terms of like the discourse online or between fans or whatever. But I mean, that trailer, man. I mean, it seems like we've got everything coming. We've got Daleks, we've got Cybermen, we've got the Master, and to everyone's surprise but absolute delight, we've got two classic Who companions coming back for Jodie's last hurrah. We've got Tegan, as played by Janet Fielding, who was in the show from 1981 till 1984, so again, nearly 40 years since we've seen her. And we've also got Ace, who was the final classic companion of the run. She was the 7th Doctor's companion from 1987 to 1989. We haven't seen her in the show for nearly 30 years. Over 30 years even. Nearly 35 now. And just even hearing them talk is incredible. I'm so thrilled that we're getting more classic companions in, because of course early on we had Sarah Jane and K9, which was lovely, you know, an absolute love letter. In the Sarah Jane adventures we got Joe Grant coming back as Joe Jones, so I'm thrilled that we're now getting more classic Who companion representation in the show again. And I mean, I have questions, you know, like Daleks, yeah, Ashad's here, you know, the lone Cyberman that the Master shrunk in The Timeless Children. I'm sure the Master will probably explain how he unshrunk him or something like that, but I am curious to see how Ashad is involved in this, quite frankly. Kate Stewart's here as well, because, you know, why not? May as well throw out all the stops, so Unit's probably going to be involved in some way as well. Jodie's in the orange spacesuit, so that means every Doctor since Tennant has worn it. Very happy they squeezed that in. And the final shot of it, she appears to be, well, it looks like regenerating. Calls out Yaz's name, so very dramatic. But yeah, the trailer got a lot of us talking, but now this is where I'm saying the worry comes in, because think about it, even in a 1 hour special, you're talking Daleks, Cybermen, the Master, Unit, classic companions, potentially some of Graham, Bradley Walsh coming back, the current TARDIS team. There is so much supposedly going on, and if some of this is reduced to like cameos, if the Daleks, for example, if they're the cameo, I wouldn't mind that at all. Not that I don't love the Daleks, of course, but out of everything in this mix, I'd argue they should be the cameo appearance. I mean, they've just had the New Year special to themselves. The Cybermen, I would have said that as well, but considering Ashad is here, I am thoroughly interested to see what is going on there and why he is here, quite frankly. I would want the focus to be on the Master, obviously the Doctor and Yaz. I'd love to see where the classic companions fit into it as well. So yeah, I'm hoping it's at least an hour, if not, say, an hour and a half. Why not? Pull out all the stops. We're probably not going to see it till October, because that is the 100th year anniversary of the BBC in October this year. So it's a 6-month wait, and the speculation is going to be rife. But yeah, call me excited. I'm hyped. But yeah, again, just on a summary of Legend of the Sea Devils, it is a shame, because I mean, I've even done it in this video. You know, a good chunk of it has been talking about the Coming Soon trailer. In comparison to the actual episode. And my summary thoughts on it is that as just like a little adventure romp, it works fine. You know, it's very traditional in that sense of Doctor Who stories, both classic and modern, that, you know, they arrive somewhere, there's something going on, there's a monster to beat, and they beat them. You know, that there's nothing wrong with doing that in Doctor Who, absolutely. I can understand people being disappointed because this is a special episode, that maybe the stakes weren't higher, it maybe wasn't leading to something bigger. I don't know, but it was fine. But yeah, just a little disappointed in some other aspects. But it was mainly the runtime. I thought the actors did a phenomenal job. The Sea Devils looked and sounded great. Wish they had more to do. So yeah, I think I enjoyed Eve of the Daleks more. But this one was all right. It was good. It was good, like popcorn entertainment. But there you are. That's my review of Legend of the Sea Devils and a little talk about the Coming Soon trailer too. So, yeah, let me know what you thought. I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments down below. What did you think of Legend of the Sea Devils? Did you really enjoy it? Was it, like, a bit meh for you? Were you more excited for the Centenary? Just let me know those thoughts. Also, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. And do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'd really love to have you aboard here. We do all sorts of stuff here on AMTV. I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for watching me. And I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Lachlan Hatfield, and Pringle, our AMTV staff members.